I'll tell you what, being a Christian with fizzling faith is a waste of time. It truly is. It's no fun. The joy in your walk with Jesus disappears when we settle for that. Have you asked God to fire up your faith? Fired up faith, jot this down, guys, is a partnership. Fired up faith is a spiritual partnership. Let me explain what I mean by this. God does his part in the growing of our faith. He gives us his divine power. He gives us his precious and his magnificent promises to light it on fire. However, this is the partnership side of stuff, okay? If our faith is going to truly be alive and strong and growing, if your faith, guys, is going to be genuinely fired up, then we also have to do our own part in the growth of our faith, in the strengthening of our faith, in the firing up of our faith. We have to do our part. Let me explain it this way. So our little grandson, Knox, he loves to come over and visit Grandma and Grandpa, or Mima and Bappa, as we're known. And he loves it when I have him jump up into my truck. And so I'll take him into the back of the truck in the bed area there, and I will lift him up. And I'll put him in the trunk, or the back of the truck. And he'll stand there, and he'll look over the edge, and it's like, I'm ready to jump. You know, I'm ready to go. He's like 3 years old, okay? So I grab his hand, and off he goes. And what I'm trying to share with you is that when we talk about doing our part and God doing his part, he picks us up. He puts us in the bed of the truck. He's given us the power. He's given us the promise that he's there for us. He'll catch us. He's not going to let us fall. But we still got to launch, right? We still got to take that step of faith. And this is what Peter is talking about here in 1 Peter chapter 1 and verses 5 through 7. He's actually talking to us, listen guys, about our approach to faith. You see that on your notes? Our approach to faith. Listen, faith to be fired up is not something that is going to happen if you are choosing to be spiritually lazy, okay? Faith isn't going to happen. It's not going to fire up if you choose to be spiritually lazy. So let me just ask you a question. Don't raise your hand. We're not taking a poll, but just a moment of honesty here, okay? My question for you is this. This day, have you asked God to fire up your faith? This day, before you got here, or even maybe now as you're hearing me talk, have you asked God in heaven to fire up your faith? Or are you just okay with maybe a fake faith that isn't real at all? Or maybe are you just going to choose to be satisfied with a faith that is just kind of fizzling? I'll tell you what, being a Christian with fizzling faith is a waste of time. It truly is. It's no fun. The joy in your walk with Jesus disappears or becomes ho-hum at best when we settle for that. But Peter is saying, guys, you got to know something. If you want a fired up faith, then you cannot approach the building of your faith in a lazy sort of way. It will not happen if we just sit around and wait for it to come our way. It will happen, however, if and when you grab hold of God's faithful hand, and the two of you work together to purposefully and intentionally Build your faith. Just like when I pick up Knox and put him in the bed of the truck, and I grab his hand and he grabs mine. That's the picture that Peter is trying to paint. Will you allow God to set you up with faith, and then will you grab his hand and start taking steps of faith with him? The call of the Holy Spirit upon every Christian is this: get serious about your faith and work with God to become a fired up man or a fired up woman of great faith. Jot that down somewhere in your notes. A prayer. God, make me a man of great faith. God, make me a woman of great faith. Are you willing to be satisfied with less? There's a problem there if you are. But if you find your heart saying, you know what, this is true, this is right, and God is calling me to this, then let God know that you're hearing him speak to you this morning and that you do want your faith to be fired up.